Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison. Is she naming names? No. At least not yet. So far, the only people that have named names are the victims, and we've gotten a slew of names, some that would shock you. Bill Clinton 26 times. It's unknown whether Ghislaine Maxwell herself will sing like a canary. Some people are saying that she's probably gonna keep her mouth shut. They're citing Prince Andrew. Apparently the two of them are really tight, and she would never think about snitching on him, even though she should. But you never know. The prosecution could come up with some sort of deal, a really good one that could get her to talk. Stay tuned. Lawyers have confirmed that Adam Perry Lang, celebrity chef, former personal chef to Jeffrey Epstein, is cooperating with the investigation. The owner of APL in Hollywood apparently traveled with Epstein a lot back in the day. He's in the flight logs. Virginia Roberts Gouffre pleaded for Lang to cooperate with the case, and it looks like he is, which is good. Gouffre says that she considered Lang a friend. Apparently, Epstein liked to control the diets of the women that he abused to keep them prepubescent thin. And Lang would sneak Gouffre pizza after Epstein fell asleep. This could maybe lead to big revelations. Also, wasn't Adam Perry Lang on the Joe Rogan podcast back in May? Did Joe know? This woman is Nadia Markinkova. She is a former model and the owner of an aviation company. She's also one of Epstein's recruiters. Nadia helped Epstein groom people, and he actually paid girls to have sex with her while he watched and took pictures. A groomer and a recruiter, Nadia was part of an organization of underlings that helped Epstein. These underlings apparently received salaries and perks for doing their work. She is being investigated along with other groomers that worked with Epstein, and she's actually claimed that she was a victim of Epstein herself. She claims she came under Epstein's influence at the age of 15 when she first arrived in the US. And you know what? I believe her. It's a sad story. A victim turned abuser. Guess what, guys? Prince Andrew might talk soon. Some people are saying that the FBI are putting a squeeze on Prince Andrew because this guy is now talking to the investigation. I talked about this guy before. He is Adam Perry Lang. He used to be Epstein's personal chef, and according to flight logs, he rode with Epstein and Prince Andrew at least 3 times. According to the DOJ, they reached out to Prince Andrew 3 times to cooperate with the investigation. Prince Andrew and his lawyers say they haven't received anything. Also, this is Gloria Allred. She's one of the lawyers that's gunning for this fool. You know, if the American justice system wants you, they're probably gonna get you. But this might be different because he's a royal, and that's incredibly dumb. Stay tuned. So, the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands has just subpoenaed all of Epstein's flight logs going back 20 years, and people are stressing. You see, the flight logs that we've all seen do not include the flight logs from one Larry Vysotsky, a pilot that flew with Epstein for over a quarter century. A legal source told the New York Post that the records that have been subpoenaed will make the ones Rogers provided, the flight logs we've already seen before, look like a post-it note. There is panic among many of the rich and famous. Damn! Who do you guys think are on these flight logs? I got my guesses. Why don't you tell me yours? Ooh! It's been reported that Bill Clinton and Ghislaine Maxwell had an intimate dinner. Not back in the 90s or the early 2000s. No, this intimate dinner happened in 2014. This dinner happened in LA after a gala. It involved some of Clinton's close associates, including Hollywood producer Steve Bing, who committed suicide earlier this year by jumping off of a high-rise balcony, Ghislaine Maxwell, and her now rumored husband, Scott Borgerson. Now, the reason why this is a big deal is because this dinner happened in 2014. Clinton supposedly cut ties with Maxwell and Epstein in 2011 when it came out that Epstein was this big old super pedophile. Why was Ghislaine Maxwell reintroduced into the Clinton fold? You tell me what your guess is. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's madam, hated Epstein, but she felt she couldn't leave him. These words were said by one of Epstein's former butlers, Juan Alessi. Alessi spoke about how Maxwell sometimes cried and anguished over her life with Jeffrey Epstein. Alessi would ask Ghislaine, why would you stay with this awful, awful man? And apparently that would just make her sob even more. Alessi would also bring up the ass tons of money Ghislaine had and how she could use this money to leave him, but according to him, he never got an explanation from her. I think that's the question we all want to ask her. Why, Ghislaine? Why? Why do you guys think she stayed? Let me know down below. Now, this story is just plain sad. According to a new book, Prince Andrew needed Jeffrey Epstein's supply of women to feel special. Apparently, Prince Andrew indulged in a playboy lifestyle and was a sex addict and a daring lover because he felt inadequate about being Prince Charles's younger brother. It seems him being sidelined by Prince Charles in the line of succession really affected him. According to a former lover, he wasn't getting any attention, and it made him feel special to have all of these beautiful women in his bed. Prince Andrew also apparently fancied redheaded women, so Epstein had his scouts comb the streets looking for the most beautiful redheads they could find. You know, the more I look into this story, the more I realize how fucking broken people like Prince Andrew really are. Well, the story's pretty bleak, but I guess this is some good news. There is a victims' compensation fund for Epstein accusers, and it seems that some of them are already receiving payouts. The fund went into effect June 25th, and it's being run independently from Epstein's estate. More than 50 individuals have filed claims so far, and more than 140 have received claims packet. A spokesman for the fund said in a statement, compensations are currently being issued and paid. The fund has a confidential forum for women who were abused by Epstein, and it's for people who are looking to find monetary compensation without having to go to court to get it. The victims are expected to get thousands to millions of dollars. So this is a good thing. I hope people still go to jail though. When Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested, many of Epstein's victims felt relief and happiness. Some say they felt stronger about Maxwell's arrest than they did about Epstein's arrest, and even his death. A lot of the women considered Maxwell worse than Epstein. One of those women was Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Giuffre even considered Maxwell Epstein's Geppetto to his Pinocchio. She enabled him so much with her contacts and her money. About Epstein, Giuffre said that he was a pedophile who could not be cured. When it came to Maxwell, though, Giuffre said that she was an evil monster. Another one of Epstein's victims, Haley Robson, said about Maxwell, "It's just unusual to see a woman portray this position, especially when it comes to kids." This is Juan Alessi. He is Jeffrey Epstein's former housekeeper. Alessi has been sharing his stories with Broken Seeking Justice, a podcast that's centered around the Epstein case. According to Alessi, when he worked for Epstein, housekeepers like him were not allowed to talk to guests and were not allowed to interrupt conversations. Alessi said that he was never aware that the women coming in and out of Epstein's houses were minors, but he did notice them, and he did warn Epstein that they could spell some trouble for him in the future. In response to Juan's warning, Epstein told Juan, "John, they only want money." And yes, his name is Juan, not John. Epstein mispronounced his name lots of times. Juan's story doesn't seem to match up though, because in 2005 he told police that he had to clean up vibrators and sex toys after Epstein's massages. He just couldn't get enough of her. Prince Andrew was reportedly fascinated with Ghislaine Maxwell. The two of them were introduced by Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. Maxwell's worldly sophistication is what drew Andrew in, and it's also what left him emotionally battered, according to a new book called Prince Philip Revealed. After meeting Ghislaine, Andrew was introduced to an out-of-bounds, raunchy, international lifestyle that he loved. Ghislaine took Andrew wherever he was willing to go. It made her look good in parties, and he never realized he was being used. According to this new book as well, Andrew's parents were actually very dismayed by his actions. They considered his upbringing woefully inadequate and his failure of judgment a tragedy. So these are some new pictures that surfaced recently. While this slideshow plays, I'm just going to read you some facts about Orgy Island. Where should I start here? Here's some facts about Epstein while he was on Orgy Island. He liked to work out, and as he worked out, he liked to watch Girls Gone Wild. Yeah, cool. Nice. Alright. The living room of the main house was outfitted with a spotless white upholstered furniture, large porcelain lamps, and a massive model ship with masts that reached the ceiling, while a bed frame featured a dark wood sleigh bed with white linen and multiple pillows, and a gilt-framed art on the wall. It's a creepy-ass statue. Okay, there you go. 2 facts. Gross. Quack, quack, quack. This is random. Y'all remember Brock Pierce from the Mighty Ducks? Well, he looks like this now. He's a cryptocurrency billionaire. He's running for president this year as an independent, and he may have ties to Epstein. Well, he only actually has just one connection to Epstein. He spoke at a conference in the Virgin Islands in 2011. This conference was held by good old Jeff. This conference was held 18 months after Epstein had served his slap-on-the-wrist 13-month prison sentence in Florida for, soliciting prostitution from underage girls. Brock Pierce has done what every other notable person that's connected to Epstein has done. Who's Epstein? I thought this was Nick Nolte. Every time a presidential candidate hangs out with Epstein, Emilio Estevez cries. Honestly, are you really surprised? Molly Syke Brown, a former high school model and singer, told The Sun that Ghislaine Maxwell tried to recruit her in 1992 in Palm Beach when she was 14 years old. Ghislaine Maxwell saw the girl working out in a gym and asked her if she modeled. She then gave the young girl her business card and told her that she had connections to Victoria's Secret. Maxwell promised Molly Syke Brown a picture of international traveling, modeling, and massages. But according to Molly Syke Brown, whatever Maxwell was telling her was going in one ear and coming out the other. Ghislaine would do this to lots of girls in Palm Beach. Creep! Ghislaine Maxwell's boyfriend or husband, depending on what article you read, Scott Borgerson, has resigned from his tech startup so he wouldn't be a distraction to the Boston-based company. I would imagine being in a relationship with one of the world's biggest pedophiles is a gigantic distraction. You know, the fact that this bitch can somehow remain not single is very disheartening for all of the decent single people out there. I tell you what. The company Scott Borgerson worked for was Cargo Metrics, and he served as the company's CEO. Now, Scott Borgerson has been with Ghislaine Maxwell for a while now, at least since 2014. That's when he was spotted with her when they both had dinner with Bill Clinton in LA. Scott Borgerson is actually younger than Ghislaine Maxwell. He's 45, she's 58. Bro, there are other sugar mamas out in the world. Why don't you hit up Martha Stewart? Did Fox News reporter Chris Wallace vacation with Jeffrey Epstein? No. That guy you see there is actually George Clooney. Those reports that you're seeing on the internet about Chris Wallace and Jeffrey Epstein hanging out on Pedo Island are false. You know, if there was ever an Epstein movie, George Clooney could probably play the fool. I just wanted to clear this up for you guys and maybe explain why this is happening. I think the reason why this is happening is because Chris Wallace is the only guy on Fox News that openly criticizes and challenges Trump. Whenever anybody talks any shit on the president, that's when you start seeing the whole, oh, they were on Pedo Island, oh my god! We can say, though, that George Wallace hung out with a guy that got his dick sucked by Ghislaine Maxwell. Damn! A new story has broke that shows how much of a demon Ghislaine Maxwell is. So a woman by the name of Samantha is claiming that she was gagged, restrained, and raped by Ghislaine Maxwell. Samantha was violently assaulted after she recruited a 19-year-old friend for Epstein and told her to lie and say that she was 16 years old. I guess Maxwell and Epstein found out because they summoned Samantha to the Manhattan mansion, where Maxwell cornered her in a massage room, called her a dirty, filthy, lying whore, put a ball gag in her mouth, and then started assaulting her with a sex toy. Epstein joined in on the assault after he was summoned by Maxwell. After they were done assaulting her, Maxwell gave Samantha $300 and told her, don't think about going to the authorities because you won't be alive to see your day in court. Just another reason to never let this bitch out of a jail cell, ever! This woman right here is Bobby Sternheim. She's a lawyer from New York. On Monday, she filed papers in New York's Southern District Court to note that she hereby appears as counsel for defendant Ghislaine Maxwell in her sex trafficking case. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, Bobby Sternheim is known for being a super lawyer. Why is she a super lawyer? Well, because she has a track record of defending terrorists. Her most high-profile client before Maxwell was Khaled Al-Fawaz. That guy was one of Osama bin Laden's henchmen. She represented him in his 2015 trial over the 1998 bombings of 2 U.S. embassies in Africa that killed 224 people. Bro, if you're hiring the terrorist lady, you're probably Satan. I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back I talked about a program they set up for potential heirs of Jeffrey Epstein. If someone thought that they were the potential heir of Epstein, then they could call in or send a message to this group to see if they can claim any part of his massive estate. Well, a man from Minnesota called Michael John Darling has thrown in his hat when it comes to the whole potential heir thing. The only known heir to Epstein's estate, as noted in his will, is his brother Mark. Now, is Michael John Darling really Epstein's heir? Probably not. You see, Michael John Darling has done this in the past. He once claimed to be this guy's potential heir. Ow! I don't think it'd be so bad being the son of Satan. I mean, you do get $600 million.